Aberdeen is Scotland's third most populous city, one of Scotland's 32 local government council areas and the United Kingdom's 37th most populous built-up area, with an official population estimate of 220,420. Nicknames include the Granite City, the Grey City and the Silver City with the Golden Sands. During the mid-18th to mid-20th centuries, Aberdeen's buildings incorporated locally quarried grey granite, which can sparkle like silver due to their high mica contents. Since the discovery of North Sea oil in the 1970s, other nicknames have been the Oil Capital of Europe or the Energy Capital of Europe. The area around Aberdeen has been settled since at least 8,000 years ago, when prehistoric villages lay around the mouths of the rivers Dee and On. The city has a long, sandy coastline. Aberdeen received royal burgh status from King David I, transforming the city economically. The city's two universities, the University of Aberdeen, founded in 1495, and Robert Gordon University, which was awarded university status in 1992, make Aberdeen the educational centre of the North East. The traditional industries of fishing, paper-making, shipbuilding, and textiles have been overtaken by the oil industry and Aberdeen's seaport. Aberdeen Healy Port is one of the busiest commercial heliports in the world and a seaport is the largest in the northeast of Scotland. Aberdeen has won the Britain in Bloom competition a record-breaking 10 times, and hosts the Aberdeen International Youth Festival, a major international event which attracts up to 1,000 of the most talented young performing arts companies. In 2012, Mercer named Aberdeen the 56th most livable city in the world, as well as the 4th most livable city in Britain. In 2012, HSBC named Aberdeen as a leading business hub and one of 8 supercities spearheading the UK's economy, marking it as the only city in Scotland to receive this accolade. History. The Aberdeen area has seen human settlement for at least 8,000 years. The city began as 2 separate burghs, Old Aberdeen at the mouth of the River Don, and New Aberdeen, a fishing and trading settlement, where the Denburn waterway entered the River Dee estuary. The earliest charter was granted by William the Lion in 1179 and confirmed the corporate rights granted by David I in 1319. The Great Charter of Robert the Bruce transformed Aberdeen into a property-owning and financially independent community. Granted with it was the nearby forest of Stockett, whose income formed the basis for the city's Common Good Fund which still benefits Aberdonians. During the Wars of Scottish Independence, Aberdeen was under English rule, so Robert the Bruce laid siege to Aberdeen Castle before destroying it in 1308, followed by the massacring of the English garrison and the retaking of Aberdeen for the townspeople. The city was burned by Edward III of England in 1336, but was rebuilt and extended, and called New Aberdeen. The city was strongly fortified to prevent attacks by neighbouring lords, but the gates were removed by 1770. During the Wars of the Three Kingdoms of 1644–1647 the city was plundered by both sides. In 1644, it was taken and ransacked by Royalist troops after the Battle of Aberdeen and 2 years later it was stormed by a Royalist force under the command of Marquis of Huntly. In 1647 an outbreak of bubonic plague killed a quarter of the population. In the 18th century, a new town hall was built and the first social services appeared with the infirmary at Woolman Hill in 1742 and the lunatic asylum in 1779. The council began major road improvements at the end of the 18th century with the main thoroughfares of George Street, King Street and Union Street all completed at the beginning of the 19th century. The expensive infrastructure works led to the city becoming bankrupt in 1817 during the economic downturn which immediately followed the end of Napoleonic Wars, is known as the post-Napoleonic Depression. However, recovery eventually came with the prosperity in the coming years. The increasing economic importance of Aberdeen and the development of the shipbuilding and fishing industries led to the construction of the present harbour including Victoria Dock and the South Breakwater, and the extension of the North Pier. Gas street lighting arrived in 1824 and an enhanced water supply appeared in 1830 when water was pumped from the Dee to a reservoir in Union Place. An underground sewer system replaced open sewers in 1865. The city was incorporated in 1891. Although Old Aberdeen has a separate history and still holds its ancient charter, it is no longer officially independent. It is an integral part of the city, as is Woodside and the Royal Burgh of Torry to the south of the River Dee. Toponymy. An early form of Welsh was widely spoken in southern Scotland in medieval times, as evidenced by the poem Wygod Odin. Old Aberdeen is the approximate location of Aiberdeen, the first settlement of Aberdeen. This literally means at the confluence of the Don, with the sea in relation to the local river. The modern name Aberdeen literally means between the Dee and Don. The Celtic prefix Aber means the confluence of in relation to the rivers as in modern Welsh. Some scholars believe the name came from the Gaelic prefix Aber and euro, which means the mouth of two rivers. In Gaelic the name is Obar Dheathain, and in Latin, the Romans referred to it as Divana. Medieval Latin has it as Aberdonia. In the Welsh language Aber means mouth and is a very common name comprising the name of the river such as Abertwr, Aberdeen, Aberystwyth. Governance. Aberdeen is locally governed by the Aberdeen City Council, which comprises 43 councillors who represent the city's wards and is headed by the Lord Provost. The current Lord Provost is George Adam. From May 2003 until May 2007 the council was run by a Liberal Democrat and Conservatives coalition. Following the May 2007 elections, the Liberal Democrats formed a new coalition with the Scottish National Party. In May 2007 the council consisted of 15 Liberal Democrat, 13 SNP, 10 Labour, 4 Conservative councillors and a single independent councillor. After an SNP by-election gain from the Conservatives on August 16, 2007, the Lib Dem SNP coalition held 28 of the 43 seats. In August 2009 a councillor resigned from the Liberal Democrats and became an independent. The Conservative group split in August 2010 with 2 councillors forming the Aberdeen Conservatives. All 4 Conservatives remain recognised as Conservatives by the party nationally. Following the election of May 3, 2012, the council is controlled by a coalition of centre-left Scottish Labour, centre-right Scottish Conservative and independent councillors. Aberdeen is represented in the Parliament of the United Kingdom by 3 constituencies, Aberdeen North, Aberdeen South and Gordon, of which the first 2 are wholly within the Aberdeen City Council area while the latter also encompasses a large swathe of Aberdeenshire. In the Scottish Parliament the city is represented by 3 constituencies with different boundaries, Aberdeen Central, Aberdeen Donside and Aberdeen South and North Kincardine. The first 2 are wholly within the Aberdeen City Council area, and the latter encompasses the North Kincardine ward of Aberdeenshire Council. A further 7 MSPs are elected as part of the North East Scotland electoral region. In the European Parliament the city is represented by 6 MEPs as part of the all-inclusive Scotland constituency. Heraldry. Symbols of the city typically show 3 castles, such as in the case of the flag and coat of arms. The image has been around since the time of Robert the Bruce and represents the buildings that stood on the 3 hills of Aberdeen. Aberdeen Castle on Castle Hill. An unknown building on Windmill Hill and a church on St. Catherine's Hill. Bon accord is the motto of the city and is French literally for good agreement. Legend tells that its use dates from the 14th century password used by Robert the Bruce during the Wars of Scottish Independence, when he and his men laid siege to Aberdeen Castle before destroying it in 1308. The leopard has traditionally been associated with the city and its emblem can be seen on the city crest. The local magazine is called The Leopard, and, when Union Bridge was widened in the 20th century, small statues of the creature in a sitting position were cast and placed on top of the railing posts. The city's toast is happy to meet, sorry to part, happy to meet again. This has been commonly misinterpreted as the translation of bon accord. Geography. Being sited between 2 river mouths, the city has little natural exposure of bedrock. This leaves local geologists in a slight quandary. Despite the high concentration of geoscientists in the area, there is only a vague understanding of what underlies the city. To the south side of the city, coastal cliffs expose high-grade metamorphic rocks of the Grampian group. To the southwest and west are extensive granites intruded into similar high-grade schists. to the north the metamorphics are intruded by gabbroic complexes instead. The small amount of geophysics done, and occasional building-related exposures, combined with small exposures in the banks of the River Don, suggest that it is actually sited on an inlier of Devonian old red sandstones and silts. The outskirts of the city spread beyond the limits of the outlier onto the surrounding metamorphic/igneous complexes formed during the Doradian period, with sporadic areas of igneous diorite granites to be found, such as that at the Rubislaw quarry, which was used to build much of the Victorian parts of the city. On the coast, Aberdeen has a long sand beach between the two rivers, the Dee and the Don, which turns into high sand dunes north of the Don stretching as far as Fraserburgh. To the south of the Dee are steep rocky cliff faces with only minor pebble and shingle beaches and deep inlets. A number of granite outcrops along the south coast have been quarried in the past, making for spectacular scenery and good rock climbing. The city extends to 184.46 km2, and includes the former burghs of Old Aberdeen, New Aberdeen, Woodside and the Royal Burgh of Torry to the south of River Dee. In 2011 this gave the city a population density of 1,169 per km². The city is built on many hills, with the original beginnings of the city growing from Castle Hill, St. Catherine's Hill and Windmill Hill. Location, climate. Aberdeen features an oceanic climate. Aberdeen is far milder than one might expect for its northern location, although statistically it is the coldest city in the UK. During the winter, especially throughout December, the length of the day is very short, averaging 6 hours and 40 minutes between sunrise and sunset at winter solstice. As winter progresses, the length of the day grows fairly quickly, to 8 hours and 20 minutes by the end of January. Around summer solstice, the days will be around 18 hours long, having 17 hours and 57 minutes between sunrise and sunset, with nautical twilight lasting the entire night. Temperatures at this time of year will be typically hovering around 17.0 degrees Celsius during the day in most of the urban area, though nearer 16.0 degrees Celsius directly on the coast, and around 18.0 to 19.0 degrees Celsius in the westernmost suburbs, illustrating the cooling effect of the North Sea during summer. Two weather stations collect climate data for the area, Aberdeen Diss Airport, and Crebstone. Both are about 1 or 2 miles to the northwest of the city centre, and given that they are in close proximity to each other, exhibit very similar climatic regimes. Diss tends to have marginally warmer daytime temperatures year-round owing to its slightly lower elevation, though is more susceptible to harsh frosts. The coldest temperature to occur in recent years was a 16.8 degrees Celsius during December 2010, while the following winter, Diss set a new February high-temperature station record on February 28, 2012 of 17.2 degrees Celsius, and a new March high-temperature record of 21.6 degrees Celsius on March 25, 2012. Demography. In 1396 the population was about 3,000. By 1801 it had become 26,992. 153,503. 182,467. In 2001 the UK census records the Aberdeen City Council area's population at 212,125, but the Aberdeen locality's population at 184,788. The latest official population estimate, for 2011, is 223,000. Data from the Aberdeen-specific locality of the 2001 UK census shows that the demographics include a median male age of 35 and female age of 38, which are younger than Scotland's average, and a 49% to 51% male-to-female ratio. The census showed that there are fewer young people in Aberdeen, with 16.4% under 16, opposed to the national average of 19.2%. According to the 2011 census, Aberdeen is 91.9% white. Ethnically, 24.7% were born outside of Scotland, higher than the national average of 16%. Of this population, 7.6% were born in other parts of the UK. 8.2% of Aberdonians stated to be from an ethnic minority in the 2011 census, with 9,519 being Asian, with 3,385 coming from India and 2,187 being Chinese. The city has around 5,610 residents of African or Caribbean origin, which is a higher percentage than both Glasgow and Edinburgh. The most multicultural part of the city is George Street, which has many ethnic restaurants, supermarkets and hairdressers. In the household, there were 97,013 individual dwellings recorded in the city, of which 61% were privately owned, 9% privately rented and 23% rented from the council. The most popular type of dwellings are apartments, which comprise 49% of residences, followed by semi-detached at just below 22%. The median income of a household in the city is £16,813, which places approximately 18% households in the city below the poverty line. Conversely, an Aberdeen postcode has the second highest number of millionaires of any postcode in the UK. Religion. Christianity is the main religion practiced in the city. Aberdeen's largest denominations are the Church of Scotland and the Roman Catholic Church, both with numerous churches across the city, with the Scottish Episcopal Church having the third largest number. The most recent census in 2001 showed that Aberdeen has the highest proportion of non-religious residents of any city in Scotland, with nearly 43% of citizens claiming to have no religion, and several former churches in the city have been converted into bars and restaurants. In the Middle Ages, the Kirk of St Nicholas was the only burgh kirk and one of Scotland's largest parish churches. Like a number of other Scottish kirks, it was subdivided after the Reformation, in this case into the East and West churches. At this time, the city also was home to houses of the Carmelites and Franciscans, the latter of which surviving in modified form as the Chapel of Marischal College as late as the early 20th century. St Match's Cathedral was formed 20 years after David I transferred the pre-Reformation diocese from Mortlach in Banffshire to Old Aberdeen in 1137. With the exception of the episcopate of William Elphinstone, building progressed slowly. Gavin Dunbar, who followed him in 1518, completed the structure by adding the two western spires and the southern transept. It is now a congregation of the Church of Scotland. Aberdeen has two other cathedrals. St Mary's Cathedral is a Roman Catholic cathedral in Gothic style, erected in 1859. In addition, St Andrew's Cathedral serves the Scottish Episcopal Church. It was constructed in 1817 as Archibald Simpson's first commission and contains a memorial to the consecration of the first bishop of the Episcopal Church in the United States of America, which took place nearby. Numerous other Protestant denominations have a presence in Aberdeen. The Salvation Army Citadel on the Castle Gate dominates the view of East End of Union Street. In addition, there is a Unitarian Church, established in 1833 and located in Skene Terrace. Christadelphians have been present in Aberdeen since at least 1844. Over the years, they have rented space to meet at a number of locations and currently meet in the Inchgarth Community Centre in Garthdee. There is also a Quaker meeting house on Crown Street, the only purpose-built Quaker house in Scotland that is still in use today. In addition, there are a number of Baptist congregations in the city, and evangelical congregations have been appearing in significant numbers since the late 2000s. The city also has two meeting houses of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. There is also a mosque in Old Aberdeen which serves the Islamic community in the city, and an Orthodox Jewish synagogue established in 1945. There are no formal Buddhist or Hindu buildings, although the University of Aberdeen has a small Baha'i society and there is a fortnightly Hindu religious gathering in the first and third Sunday afternoons at Queen's Cross Parish Church Hall. Economy. Traditionally, Aberdeen was home to fishing, textile mills, shipbuilding and papermaking. These industries have been largely replaced. High-technology developments in the electronics design and development industry, research in agriculture and fishing and the oil industry, which has been largely responsible for Aberdeen's economic boom in the last 3 decades, are now major parts of Aberdeen's economy. Until the 1970s, most of Aberdeen's leading industries dated from the 18th century. Mainly these were textiles, foundry work, shipbuilding and papermaking, the oldest industry in the city, with paper having been first made there in 1694. Paper-making has reduced in importance since the closures of Donside Paper Mill in 2001 and the Davidson Mill in 2005, leaving the Stonywood Paper Mill with a workforce of approximately 500. Textile production ended in 2004 when Richards of Aberdeen closed. Grey granite was quarried at Rubislaw Quarry for more than 300 years, and used for paving sets, curb and building stones, and monumental and other ornamental pieces. Aberdeen granite was used to build the terraces of the Houses of Parliament and Waterloo Bridge in London. Quarrying finally ceased in 1971. The current owners have begun pumping 40 years' worth of rainwater from the quarry with the aim of developing a heritage centre on the site. Fishing was once the predominant industry, but was surpassed by deep-sea fisheries, which derived a great impetus from improved technologies throughout the 20th century. Catches have fallen due to overfishing and the use of the harbour by oil support vessels, and so although still an important fishing port, it is now eclipsed by the more northerly ports of Peterhead and Fraserburgh. The Fisheries Research Services are headquartered in Aberdeen, and there is a marine research lab in Torry. Aberdeen is well regarded for the agricultural and soil research carried out at the James Hutton Institute, which has close links to the city's two universities. The Rowett Research Institute is a world-renowned research centre for studies into food and nutrition located in Aberdeen. It has produced 3 Nobel laureates and there is a high concentration of life scientists working in the city. As oil reserves in the North Sea decrease, there is an effort to rebrand Aberdeen as Energy Capital of Europe rather than Oil Capital of Europe, and interest in the development of new energy sources and technology transfer from oil into renewable energy and other industries is underway. The Energetical initiative led by Scottish Enterprise has been designed to accelerate this process. As of 2013, Aberdeen remained a major world centre for undersea petroleum technology. Aberdeen and the North Sea. Aberdeen had been a major maritime centre throughout the 19th century, when a group of local entrepreneurs launched the first steam-powered trawler. The steam trawling industry expanded, and by 1933 Aberdeen was Scotland's top fishing port, employing nearly 3,000 men with 300 vessels sailing from its harbour. By the time oil was coming on stream, much of the trawling fleet had relocated to Peterhead. Although Aberdeen still brings in substantial catches, the tugs, safety vessels and supply ships which pack the harbour far outnumber the trawlers. Geologists had speculated about the existence of oil and gas in the North Sea since the middle of the 20th century, but tapping its deep and inhospitable waters was another story. However, with the Middle Eastern oil sheiks becoming more aware of the political and economic power of their oil reserves and government threats of rationing, the industry began to consider the North Sea as a viable source of oil. Exploration commenced in the 1960s and the first major find in the British sector was in November 1970 in the Forties Field, 110 miles east of Aberdeen. By late 1975, after years of intense construction, the necessary infrastructure was in place. In Aberdeen, at BP's headquarters, the Queen pressed the button that would set the whole thing moving. Oil flowed from the rig directly to the refinery at faraway Grangemouth. While many ports suffered decline, Aberdeen remains busy due to oil trade as the influx of people connected with the industry, and a subsequent rise in property prices has brought prosperity to the area. The industry still supports about 47,000 jobs locally, and known reserves are such that oil will continue to flow well into the 21st century. Business. In 2011, the Centre for Cities named Aberdeen as the best placed city for growth in Britain, as the country looked to emerge from the recent economic downturn. With energy still providing the backbone of the local economy, recent years have seen massive new investment in the North Sea due to rising oil prices and favourable government tax incentives. This has led to several oil majors and independents building new global offices in the city. Aberdeen City and Shire's gross domestic product is estimated at over £11.4 billion, accounting for over 17% of the overall Scottish GDP. 5 of Scotland's top 10 businesses are based in Aberdeen with a collective turnover of £14 billion, yielding a profit in excess of £2.4 billion. Alongside this, 29 of Scotland's top 100 businesses are located in Aberdeen with an employment rate of 77.9%, making it the second highest UK city for employment. Shopping. The city ranks third in Scotland for shopping. The traditional shopping streets are Union Street and George Street, now complemented by shopping centres, notably the Bolnicord and St Nicholas and the Trinity Shopping Centre. A new retail £190 million development, Union Square, reached completion in late September-early October 2009. Major retail parks away from the city centre include the Aiberdeen Retail Park, the Kitty Brister Retail Park and the Beach Boulevard Retail Park. In March 2004, Aberdeen was awarded Fair Trade City status by the Fair Trade Foundation. Along with Dundee, it shares the distinction of being the first city in Scotland to receive this accolade. Landmarks. Aberdeen's architecture is known for its principal use during the Victorian era of granite, which has led to its local nickname of the Granite City, or more romantically the less commonly used name the Silver City, since the mica in the stone sparkles in the sun. The hard grey stone is one of the most durable materials available and helps to explain why the city's buildings look brand new when they have been newly cleaned and the cement has been pointed. Unlike other Scottish cities where sandstone has been used, the buildings are not weathering and need very little structural maintenance on their masonry. The buildings can however become noticeably darker as a result of pollution and grime accumulated over the years. There has however been great success in cleaning the buildings, which can result in their Section 8 being restored back to much how they looked originally. Amongst the notable buildings in the city's main street, Union Street, are the Town and County Bank, the Music Hall, the Trinity Hall of the Incorporated Trades, now a shopping mall, the former office of the Northern Assurance Company, and the National Bank of Scotland. In Castle Street, a continuation eastwards of Union Street, is the new Town House, a very prominent landmark in Aberdeen, built between 1868 and 1873 to a design by Peddy and Kinnear. Alexander Marshall Mackenzie's extension to Marischal College on Broad Street, opened by King Edward VII in 1906, created the second largest granite building in the world. In addition to the many fine landmark buildings, Aberdeen has many prominent public statues, three of the most notable being William Wallace at the junction between Union Terrace and Rosemount Viaduct, Robert Burns on Union Terrace. Above Union Terrace Gardens, and Robert the Bruce holding aloft the charter he issued to the city in 1319 on Broad Street, outside Marischal College. Parks, gardens and open spaces. Aberdeen has long been famous for its 45 parks and gardens, and citywide floral displays which include 2 million roses, 11 million daffodils and 3 million crocuses. The city has won the Royal Horticultural Society's Britain in Bloom Best City Award 10 times, the overall Scotland in Bloom competition 20 times and the Large City category every year since 1968. However, despite recent spurious reports, Aberdeen has never been banned from the Britain in Bloom competition. The city won the 2006 Scotland in Bloom Best City Award along with the International Cities in Bloom Award. The suburb of Diss also won the Small Towns Award. Dheathain Park opened in 1899 on the north bank of the River Dee. It was named after and given to the city by Miss Elizabeth Crombie Dheathain of Ruth Reeston in 1881. It has extensive gardens, a rose hill, boating pond, bandstand, and play area as well as Europe's second largest enclosed gardens, the David Welch Winter Gardens. Hazelhead Park is large and forested, located on the outskirts of the city. It is popular with walkers in the forests, sports enthusiasts, naturalists and picnickers. There are football pitches, 2 golf courses, a pitch and putt course and a horse riding school. Aberdeen's success in the Britain in Bloom competitions is often attributed to Johnston Gardens, a small park of 1 hectare in the west end of the city containing many different flowers and plants which have been renowned for their beauty. The garden was in 2002, named the best garden in the British Islands. Seaton Park, formerly the grounds of a private house, is on the edge of the grounds of St Match's Cathedral. The Cathedral Walk is maintained in a formal style with a great variety of plants providing a popular display. The park includes several other areas with contrasting styles to this. Union Terrace Gardens opened in 1879 and is situated in the centre of the city. It covers 2.5 acres in the centre of Aberdeen, bordered on three sides by Union Street, Union Terrace and Rosemount Viaduct. The park forms a natural amphitheatre located in the Denburn Valley and is an oasis of peace and calm in the city centre. A recent proposal to build a three-story concrete and steel superstructure in place of the gardens, part of which will provide a commercial concourse, has proved highly controversial. Situated next to each other, Victoria Park and Westburn Park cover 26 acres between them. Victoria Park opened in 1871. There is a conservatory used as a seating area and a fountain made of 14 different granites, presented to the people by the granite polishers and master builders of Aberdeen. Opposite to the north is Westburn Park, opened in 1901. With large grass pitches, it is widely used for field sports. There is large tennis centre with indoor and outdoor courts, a children's cycle track, play area and a grass bowls lawn. Theatres and concert halls. Aberdeen has hosted several theatres throughout its history, some of which have subsequently been converted or destroyed. The most famous include, His Majesty's Theatre, on Rosemount Viaduct, the Tivoli, on Guild Street, Capitol Theatre, on Union Street, Aberdeen Arts Centre, on King Street, the Palace Theatre, on Bridge Street, the Lemon Tree on West North Street. The main concert hall is the Music Hall on Union Street, built in 1822. Transport. Aberdeen Airport, at Dheathain, the north of the city, serves a number of domestic and international destinations including France, Germany, the Netherlands, Spain, Belgium, Austria, Ireland and Scandinavian countries. The heliport, which serves the oil industry and rescue services, is one of the busiest commercial heliports in the world. Aberdeen Railway Station is on the main UK rail network, and First ScotRail has frequent direct trains to major cities such as Edinburgh, Glasgow and Inverness. East Coast has trains to London. First ScotRail operate the overnight Caledonian Sleeper train. The station is currently being updated to bring it into the modern age. In 2007 additions were made and a new ticket office was built in the building. The UK's longest direct rail journey runs from Aberdeen to Penzance. It is operated by Cross Country, leaving Aberdeen at 8:20 and taking 13 hours and 23 minutes to complete. Until 2007, a 1950s-style concrete bus station at Guild Street served out of the city locations. It has since transferred to a new and well-presented bus station just 100 metres to the east off Market Street as part of the Union Square development. There are 6 major roads in and out of the city. The A90 is the main arterial route into the city from the north and south, linking Aberdeen to Edinburgh, Dundee, Brechin and Perth in the south and Ellon, Peterhead and Fraserburgh in the north. The A96 links Elgin and Inverness and the northwest. The A93 is the main route to the west, heading towards Royal Deeside and the Cairngorms. After Braemar, it turns south, providing an alternative tourist route to Perth. The A944 also heads west, through Isville and on to Alford. The A92 was the original southerly road to Aberdeen prior to the building of the A90, and is now used as a tourist route, connecting the towns of Montrose and Arbroath on the east coast. The A947 exits the city at Diss and goes on to Newmarket, Oldmoorham and Turriff, finally ending at Banff and Macduff. After first being mooted some 60 years ago and being held up for the past 5 years due to a number of legal challenges, Aberdeen's long-awaited western peripheral route was finally given the go-ahead after campaigners lost their appeal to the UK Supreme Court in October 2012. The 30-mile route is earmarked to be completed in 2018 and is hoped to significantly reduce traffic congestion in and around the city. Aberdeen Harbour is important as the largest in the north of Scotland and as a ferry route to Orkney in Shetland. Established in 1136, it has been referred to as the oldest business in Britain. First Group operates the city buses under the name First Aberdeen, as the successor of Grampian Regional Transport and Aberdeen Corporation Tramways. Aberdeen is the global headquarters of First Group plc, having grown from the GRT Group. First is still based at the former Aberdeen Tramways depot on King Street, which has now been redeveloped into a new global headquarters and Aberdeen bus depot. Stagecoach Group also run buses in Aberdeen and Aberdeenshire, under the Stagecoach Bluebird brand. Other bus companies run buses from the bus station to places north and south of the city. National Express operate express coach services to London twice daily. The 590 service, operated by Bruce's of Salzburg, operates in the morning and runs through the day, calling at Dundee, Perth, Glasgow, Hamilton, Carlisle, Milton Keynes, Golders Green and Victoria Coach Station, whilst the 592 leaves in the evening and travels overnight, calling at Dundee, Glasgow, Hamilton, Carlisle, Heathrow Airport and Victoria Coach Station. In addition, there are Mgabus services to London and Edinburgh and Scottish City Link services to Glasgow, operated by Stagecoach and Parks of Hamilton using the City Link gold and blue livery. Aberdeen is connected to the UK National Cycle Network, and has a track to the south connecting to cities such as Dundee and Edinburgh and one to the north that forks about 10 miles from the city into two different tracks heading to Inverness and Fraserburgh respectively. Two particularly popular footpaths along old railway tracks are the Deeside Way to Banchory and the former Teen and Buchan Way to Ellon, both used by a mixture of cyclists, walkers and occasionally horses. Four park and ride sites serve the city, Stonehaven and Ellon out from the city centre, and Kingswells and Bridge of Don out. The Dee estuary, Aberdeen's harbour, has continually been improved. Starting out as a fishing port, moving on to steam trawlers, the oil industry, it is now a major port of departure for the Baltic and Scandinavia. Major exports include fertilizer, granite, and chemicals. Education. Universities and colleges. Aberdeen has two universities, the ancient University of Aberdeen, and Robert Gordon University, a modern university often referred to as a GU. Aberdeen's student rate of 11.5% is higher than the national average of 7%. The University of Aberdeen began as King's College, Aberdeen, which was founded in 1495 by William Elphinstone, Bishop of Aberdeen and Chancellor of Scotland. Marischal College, a separate institution, was founded in New Aberdeen by George Keith, 5th Earl Marischal of Scotland in 1593. These institutions were merged by Order of Parliament in 1860 to form the University of Aberdeen. The university is the fifth oldest in the English-speaking world and offers degrees in a full range of disciplines. Its main campus is in Old Aberdeen in the north of the city and it currently has approximately 14,000 students. The university's debating society is the oldest in Scotland, founded in 1848 as the King's College Debating Society. Robert Gordon's College was founded in 1750 by the merchant Robert Gordon, grandson of the mapmaker Robert Gordon of Strelloch, and was further endowed in 1816 by Alexander Simpson of Collihill. Originally devoted to the instruction and maintenance of the sons of Paul Burgesses of Guild and Trade in the city, it was reorganized in 1881 as a day and night school for secondary and technical education. In 1903, the vocational education component of the college was designated a central institution and was renamed as the Robert Gordon Institute of Technology in 1965. In 1992, university status was awarded and it became Robert Gordon University. The university has expanded and developed significantly in recent years, and was named Best Modern University in the UK for 2012 by the Sunday Times. It was previously the Sunday Times Scottish University of the Year for 2011, primarily due to its record on graduate employment. The citation for the 2011 award read, with a graduate unemployment rate that is lower than the most famous universities, including Oxford and Cambridge, plus a flourishing reputation for research, high student satisfaction rates and ambitious plans for its picturesque campus, the Robert Gordon University is the Sunday Times Scottish University of the Year. RGU had two campuses, one in the city centre at School Hill St Andrew Street and a larger suburban campus at Garthdee and currently has approximately 15,500 students. As of 2013, the Garthdee campus was expanded to include all schools, with the School Hill St Andrew Street campus being sold to unknown buyers. The closure of the School Hill site includes the removal of the Student Union building, giving Aberdeen the nebulous distinction of having two universities but no student bar. Aberdeen is also home to two artistic schools, Gray's School of Art, founded in 1886, which is one of the oldest established colleges of art in the UK. The Scots Sutherland School of Architecture and the Built Environment, was one of the first architectural schools to have its training courses recognised by the Royal Institute of British Architects. Both are now part of Robert Gordon University and are based at its Garthdee campus. North East Scotland College has several campuses in the city and offers a wide variety of part-time and full-time courses leading to several different qualifications in science. The Scottish Agricultural College is based just outside Aberdeen, on the Krebstone Estate. This is situated beside the roundabout for Aberdeen Airport on the A96. The college provides 3 services: Euro learning, research and consultancy. The college features many land-based courses such as agriculture, countryside management, sustainable environmental management and rural business management. There are a variety of courses from diplomas through to master's degrees. The Marine Laboratory Aberdeen, which specialises in fisheries, Macaulay Land Use Research Institute, and the Rowett Research Institute are some other higher education institutions. Schools. There are currently 12 secondary schools and 54 primary schools which are run by the City Council. The most notable are Aberdeen Grammar School, Hallow Academy, Cults Academy, and Old Matcher Academy, which were all rated in the top 50 Scottish Secondary Schools League tables published by The Times in 2005. Hallow Academy was taken down from the list after a short time but is still a popular school. There are a number of private schools in Aberdeen. Robert Gordon's College, Albans School for Girls, St Margaret's School for Girls, the Hamilton School, the Total French School, the International School of Aberdeen and a Waldorf Steiner School. Primary schools in Aberdeen include Airy Hill Primary School, Albans School, Ashley Road Primary School, Balgownie Primary School, Broormill Primary School, Cornhill Primary School, Coulter Primary School, Cults Primary School, Danestone Primary School, Fernielia Primary School, Ferryhill Primary School, Gilcomstown Primary School, Glashebune Primary School, Hamilton School, Camhill Primary School, Kingsford Primary School, Kittybrister Primary School, Marland School, Moorfield Primary School, Robert Gordon's College, Skene Square Primary School, St Joseph R Euro unregistered trademark S Primary School and St Margaret's School for Girls. Culture. The city has a wide range of cultural activities, amenities and museums. The city is regularly visited by Scotland's national arts companies. The Aberdeen Art Gallery houses a collection of Impressionist, Victorian, Scottish and 20th century British paintings as well as collections of silver and glass. It also includes the Alexander MacDonald Bequest, a collection of late 19th century works donated by the museum's first benefactor and a constantly changing collection of contemporary work and regular visiting exhibitions. Museums and galleries. The Aberdeen Maritime Museum, located in Shipro, tells the story of Aberdeen's links with the sea from the days of sail and clipper ships to the latest oil and gas exploration technology. It includes an 8.5-metre-high model of the Murchison oil production platform and a 19th-century assembly taken from Rattray Head Lighthouse. Provost Ross House is the second oldest dwelling house in the city. It was built in 1593 and became the residence of Provost John Ross of Arnage in 1702. The house retains some original medieval features, including a kitchen, fireplaces and beam and board ceilings. The Gordon Highlanders Museum tells the story of one of Scotland's best-known regiments. Marischal Museum holds the principal collections of the University of Aberdeen, comprising some 80,000 items in the areas of fine art, Scottish history and archaeology, and European, Mediterranean and Near Eastern archaeology. The permanent displays and reference collections are augmented by regular temporary exhibitions. It closed to the public in 2008 for renovations. Its reopening date has yet to be confirmed. The King's Museum acts as the main museum of the university in the meantime. Festivals and performing arts. Aberdeen is home to a number of events and festivals including the Aberdeen International Youth Festival, Aberdeen Jazz Festival, Root and a Boot, Triptych, the University of Aberdeen's Literature Festival Word and Dance Live, Scotland's only festival of contemporary dance, which is produced by the city's Sight-i-Mobs dance organisation. The Aberdeen Student Show, performed annually without interruption since 1921, under the auspices of the Aberdeen Students' Charities Campaign, is the longest running of its kind in the United Kingdom. It is written, produced and performed by students and graduates of Aberdeen's universities and higher education institutions. Since 1929 other than on a handful of occasions it has been staged at His Majesty's Theatre. The student show traditionally combines comedy and music, inspired by the North East's Doric dialect and humour. National festivals which visited Aberdeen in 2012 included the British Science Festival in September, hosted by the University of Aberdeen but with events also taking place at Robert Gordon University and at other venues across the city. In February 2012 the University of Aberdeen also hosted the InterVarsity Folk Dance Festival, the longest-running folk festival in the United Kingdom. Music and film. Aberdeen's music scene includes a variety of live music venues including pubs, clubs, and church choirs. The bars of Belmont Street are particularly known for featuring live music. Ceilidhs are also common in the city's halls. Popular music venues include the Aberdeen Exhibition and Conference Centre, Aberdeen Music Hall and the Lemon Tree, along with smaller venues such as the Tunnel, the Moorings, Drummond's, Mwarsulu, and Snafu. Notable Aberdonian musicians include Annie Lennox, Emily Sander Copyright, cult band Pallars and contemporary composer John MacLeod. Cultural cinema, educational work and local film events are provided by the Belmont Picture House on Belmont Street, Peacock Visual Arts and the Foyer. The only Doric-speaking feature film was released in 2008 by Sturton Productions and Canny Films. One Day Removals is a black comedy adult drama starring Patrick White and Scott Ironside and tells the tale of two unlucky removal men whose day goes from bad to worse. It was filmed on location in Aberdeen for a budget of £60,000. Dialect. Listen to recordings of a speaker of Scots from Aberdeen. The local dialect of Lowland Scots is often known as Doric, and is spoken not just in the city, but across the northeast of Scotland. It differs somewhat from other Scots dialects. Most noticeable are the pronunciation F for what is normally written WH and EA for what in Standard English would usually be written U. Every year the annual Doric Festival takes place in Aberdeen to celebrate the history of the Northeast's language. As with all Scots dialects in urban areas, it is not spoken as widely as it used to be in Aberdeen. Media. Aberdeen is home to Scotland's oldest newspaper, the Press and Journal, a local and regional newspaper first published in 1747. The Press and Journal and its sister paper the tabloid Evening Express are printed 6 days a week by Aberdeen journals. There is one free newspaper, the Aberdeen Citizen. BBC Scotland has a network studio production base in the city's Beechgrove area, and BBC Aberdeen produces the Beechgrove Potting Shed for radio while Turn Television produces the Beechgrove Garden television programme. The city is also home to STV North, which produces the regional news programmes such as STV News at 6, as well as local commercials. The station, based at Craigshaw Business Park in Toulouse, was based at larger studios in Queen's Cross from September 1961 until June 2003. There are 3 commercial radio stations operating in the city, North Sound Radio, which runs North Sound 1 and North Sound 2, and independent station Original 106. Other radio stations include NECR-FM DAB station, and SHMU FM managed by Station House Media Unit which supports community members to run Aberdeen's first full-time community radio station, broadcasting on 99.8 MHz FM. Food. The Aberdeen region has given its name to a number of dishes, including the Aberdeen buttery and Aberdeen sausage. The Aberdeen buttery is more frequently seen and is sold at bakeries and supermarkets throughout the city. It looks like a cross between a pancake and a croissant and has a buttery, salty taste and heavy texture. It is usually eaten cold and served plain or with jam or butter. Sport. Football. The Scottish Premier League football club, Aberdeen FC, play at Pittodrie Stadium. The club won the European Cup Winners' Cup and the European Super Cup in 1983 and the Scottish Premier League Championship 4 times, the Scottish Cup 7 times. Under the management of Alex Ferguson, Aberdeen was a major force in British football during the 1980s. As of the 2013 Euro 14 season, the club is managed by Derek McInnes and captained by Russell Anderson. There are plans to build a new Aberdeen stadium in the future. The other senior team is Cove Rangers FC. Of the Highland Football League, who play at Allen Park in the suburb of Cove Bay, although they will be moving to Calder Park once it is built to boost their chances of getting into the Scottish Football League. Cove won the HFL Championship in 2001 and 2008. There was also a historic senior team Bonaccord FC, who no longer play. Local junior teams include Banks ODFC, Coulter FC, FC Stonywood, Glentainer FC, Sunnerbank and Hermes FC. Rugby Union. Aberdeen hosted Caledonia Reds, a Scottish rugby team, before they merged with the Glasgow Warriors in 1998. The city is also home to the Scottish Premiership Division 1 rugby club Aberdeen GSF PRFC, who play at Rubislaw playing fields, and Aberdeen RFC, which was founded in 1875 and runs junior, senior men's, senior ladies in touch sections from the Woodside Sports Complex, and also Aberdeen Wanderers RFC. Former Wanderers player Jason White was captain of the Scotland national rugby union team. Aberdeenshire Rugby Football Club is based in the north of the city at Woodside Sports Complex near the Great North Road on the banks of the River Don. They currently play in the Scottish League Championship B, the third tier of club rugby. In 2005, the president of the SRU said it was hoped eventually to establish a professional team in Aberdeen. In November 2008, the city hosted a rugby international at Pittodrie between Scotland and Canada, with Scotland winning 41-0. In November 2010, the city once again hosted a rugby international at Pittodrie between Scotland and Samoa, with Scotland winning 19-16. Rugby League. Aberdeen Warriors Rugby League team play in the Scotland Rugby League Conference Division 1. The Warriors also run under-15s and 17s teams. Aberdeen Grammar School won the Satire Schools Cup in 2011. Golf. The Royal Aberdeen Golf Club, founded in 1780 and the oldest golf club in Aberdeen, hosted the Senior British Open in 2005, and the amateur team event the Walker Cup in 2011. The club has a second course, and there are public golf courses at Auchmeal, Balnagasc, Hazelhead and Kings Links. The 1999 winner of the Open Championship, Paul Lowry, hails from the city. There are new courses planned for the area, including world-class facilities with major financial backing. The city and Shire are set to become a hotbed for golf tourism. In summer 2012, Donald Trump opened a new state-of-the-art golf course at Manie, just north of the city, as the Trump International Golf Links, Scotland. Swimming. The City of Aberdeen swim team was based in Northfield Swimming Pool, but since the recent opening of the newly constructed Aberdeen Aquatic Centre, it is now based there, as it has a 50 am pool as opposed to the 25 am pool at Northfield. It has been in operation since 1996. The team comprises several smaller swimming clubs, and has enjoyed success throughout Scotland and in international competitions. 3 of the team swimmers qualified for the 2006 Commonwealth Games. Rowing. There are 4 boat clubs that row on the River Dee: Aberdeen Boat Club, Aberdeen Schools Rowing Association, Aberdeen University Boat Club and Robert Gordon University Boat Club. There are regattas and head races annually, managed by the Committee of the Dee. There is also a boat race held every year between AUBC and RGUBC. The race is in mixed eights, and usually held in late February/early March. Cricket. Aberdeen boasts a large cricket community with 4 local leagues operating that comprise a total of 25 clubs fielding 36 teams. The city has 2 National League sides, Aberdeenshire and Stonywood Diss. Local grades cricket has been played in Aberdeen since 1884. Aberdeen were the 2009 Scottish National Premier League and Scottish Cup champions. Ice skating, Aberdeen has a 56 x 26 metre ice arena called Links Ice Arena. It is a CAFR copyright, bar, and meeting rooms and is joined onto Aberdeen Leisure Centre. Other sports, the City Council operates public tennis courts and various parks including an indoor tennis centre at Westburn Park. The Beach Leisure Centre is home to a climbing wall, gymnasium and a swimming pool. There are numerous swimming pools dotted around the city, notably the largest, the Bon Accord Baths, which closed down in 2006. Aberdeen City Council also have an outdoor education service which is now known as Adventure Aberdeen, that provides abseiling, surfing, whitewater rafting, gorge walking, kayaking and open canoeing, mountaineering, sailing, mountain biking and rock climbing. They inspire learning through adventure and have many programs for children and adults. In common with many other major towns and cities in the UK, Aberdeen has an active roller derby league, Granite City Roller Girls. The Aberdeen Roughnecks American Football Club are a new team which started in 2012. They are an adult contact team who currently train at Seaton Park. This is the first team which Aberdeen has enjoyed since the Granite City Oilers were wound up in the late 1990s. Aberdeen Oilers Floorball Club was founded in 2007. The club initially attracted a range of experienced Scandinavian and other European players who were studying in Aberdeen. Since their formation, Aberdeen Oilers have played in the British Floorball Northern League and went on to win the league in the 2008 September season. The club played a major role in setting up a ladies' league in Scotland. The Oilers ladies team ended up second in the first ladies' league season. Public services. The Public Health Service in Scotland, NHS Scotland, provides for the people of Aberdeen through the NHS Grampian Health Board. Aberdeen Royal Infirmary is the largest hospital in the city. Royal Aberdeen Children's Hospital, a paediatric hospital, Royal Cornwall Hospital for Mental Health, Aberdeen Maternity Hospital, an antenatal hospital, Woodend Hospital, which specialises in rehabilitation and long-term illnesses and conditions, and City Hospital and Woman Hill Hospital, which hosts several outpatient clinics and offices. Alban Hospital is a private hospital located in the west end of the city. Aberdeen City Council is responsible for city-owned infrastructure which is paid for by a mixture of council tax and income from HM Treasury. Infrastructure and services run by the council include, clearing snow in winter, city wardens, maintaining parks, refuse collection, sewage, street cleaning and street lighting. Infrastructure in private hands includes electricity, gas and telecoms. Water supplies are provided by Scottish Water. Police. Policing in Aberdeen is the responsibility of Police Scotland. The Grampian Division of Police Scotland headquarters is located in Queen's Street, Aberdeen. Ambulance. The North East Divisional headquarters of the Scottish Ambulance Service is located in Aberdeen. Fire and Rescue. This is the responsibility of the Grampian Fire and Rescue Service. The service operates distinctive white-painted fire engines. Lifeboat. The Royal National Lifeboat Institution operates Aberdeen Lifeboat Station. It is located at Victoria Dock entrance in York Place. The current building was opened in 1997. Twin cities. Aberdeen is twinned with Regensburg, Germany, Clermont-Ferrand, France, Bulawayo, Zimbabwe, Stavanger, Norway and Gomel, Belarus. Notable people. Aberdeen in popular culture. Stuart McBride's crime novels, Cold Granite, Dying Light, Broken Skin, Flesh House, Blind Eye and Dark Blood are all set in Aberdeen. D.S. Logan McRae is a Grampian police officer and locations found in the books can be found in Aberdeen and the surrounding countryside. A large part of the plot of the World War II spy thriller Eye of the Needle takes place in wartime Aberdeen, from which a German spy is trying to escape to a submarine waiting offshore. Stuart Holmes' sex and literary-obsessed contemporary novel 69 Things to Do with a Dead Princess is set in Aberdeen. A portion of Ian Rankin's novel Black and Blue is set in Aberdeen, where its nickname Furry Boots is noted. Sarah Jane Smith from the popular science fiction show Doctor Who was accidentally returned to Aberdeen instead of her home in South Croydon by the fourth incarnation of the Doctor. The successful Channel 4 sitcom Peep Show makes occasional reference to Aberdeen, as the employer of one of the main characters has an office in Aberdeen. In one episode, Mark Corrigan is desperate to be put on secondment to Aberdeen so as to spend some time with his love interest, Sophie, whilst in another episode, Mark's boss, Alan Johnston, announces that he is just back from Aberdeen. The pop music groups Danny Wilson and Roy Seven have both recorded songs called Aberdeen. The fictional character groundskeeper Willie, a recurring character on the USA TV show The Simpsons, is heard cheering "Go Aberdeen" upon waking up from a dream in the episode titled "Scus Me While I Miss the Sky." Also, in an episode when Homer and Mr. Burns go to Loch Ness in search of the Loch Ness Monster, they discover a fake version of the monster with graffiti which reads "Stomp Aberdeen." Homer then goes on to proclaim that Aberdeen rules. This is in spite of the fact that groundskeeper Willie does not have an Aberdeen accent. Star Trek's chief engineer, Mr. Scott, in the episode Wolf in the Fold, described himself as an old Aberdeen pub crawler, but the Canadian actor James Doohan does not speak with an æbərːdiːnshire accent. Aberdeen, a seaport town located in Darkshire in the game World of Warcraft, is a possible reference to the city of Aberdeen. In Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Aberdeen is mentioned as one of the stops of the night bus. See also: Aberdeen Bestiary, Aberdeen City Youth Council, Aberdeen Typhoid Outbreak 1964, Aberdonia, Future Developments in Aberdeen, List of Places in Aberdeen, List of Places in Scotland, Our Lady of Aberdeen, William Wallace Statue, Aberdeen, William Wallace Statue, Beamer Side, References. Further reading: Carter, Jennifer. Crown and Gown, Illustrated History of the University of Aberdeen, 1495 € 1995. Aberdeen University Press. ISBN A1-85752-240-0. Fraser, W. Hamish. Aberdeen, 1800–2000, A New History. Tuckwell Press. ISBN A1-86232-175-2. Keith, Alexander. 1000 Years of Aberdeen. Aberdeen University Press. ISBN A0-900015-29-2. Stewart, John, ed. Extracts from the Council Register of the Burgh of Aberdeen 1625 € 1642 1. Edinburgh, Scottish Burgh Records Society. Stewart, John, ed. Extracts from the Council Register of the Burgh of Aberdeen 1643 € 1747 2. Edinburgh, Scottish Burgh Records Society. External links: Aberdeen City Council, Aberdeen at DMOZ, Aberdeen Facts, Aberdeen Pictures, Aberdeen University Debater, a collection of historic maps of Aberdeen from the 1660s onward at National Library of Scotland, a selection of archive films relating to Aberdeen at the Scottish Screen Archive, engraving of Aberdeen in 1693 by John Slezer at National Library of Scotland, Aberdeen Tourist Guide, texts on Wikisource, Aberdeen. Encyclopædia Britannica 1911 Aberdeen. Collier's New Encyclopedia 1921 A.